So guys, basically I have gotten sick of my tiny kitchen, and there's not a lot I can do about my tiny kitchen except maybe I could clean this off, but anyway, I digress. But so my biggest things that I hate about the kitchen, other than the size, are these white countertops and these cabinets that I painted that have the paint coming off of them. So what I'm going to do now is tackle these cabinets or these countertops. And what I'm going to do is use a few products, and I'm going to faux paint my countertops. And I have not done this process before, but I've watched a lot of videos. It's like I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. And I wanted to take you along this process just to see how it turns out, because I've already done a little test area. And I'm kind of okay with it. It needs to be touched up a little bit because I didn't get every area very good. But anyway, I just wanted to show you some of the products that I'll be using. First one is the Zinsser Cover Primer. And this is an oil-based product. So cleanup would be with mineral spirits or lacquer thinner or whatever product you use for that. I'm going to be painting that on with a sponge roller like this, and you'll need to use a sponge roller because you don't want it to have much of a texture. And then I'm going to throw it away, so I'm not going to worry about cleanup. So that'll be the first step after you have taped everything off. And that's one of the things that you'll need to do is tape off all of the areas that you don't want, you don't want to get. It's like I've never used a camcorder before, or never made a video before. Anyway, all the areas that you don't want to get the sponge paint on, you want to tape off. And I used this 3M just painter's tape. And in another video, they recommended, don't spend the money on this. Use this cheap tape from the Dollar Tree. But let me tell you, this does not stick very well, and it comes off. So I just went ahead. I had this painter's tape already, so I just used that for this part. You probably need a little paintbrush. I saw this trick in another video, and she just took a Dollar Tree, this was a Dollar Tree sponge, and she took a pair of scissors and cut it in half and cut these chunks in it. So it gives you more of a texturized surface. And that way you can avoid buying an expensive like sea sponge in an art department of Walmart or wherever, because this was $1. And I feel like it worked pretty well on what I was trying to do. The colors that I'm going to use, in my backsplash, I have, it's glass tile with colors behind it, and one of them is a coppery color that I kind of like. So I decided to use and I bought these at either Walmart or Hobby Lobby because I got some for both. This is earth brown, no, this one. This is a metallic chocolate brown that gives you that coppery color. This is an earth brown that I also used. And then I used a little bit of this regular chocolate brown and territorial beige. So, but you can choose whatever colors you want. I did pick up this Riviera tan, which is a real light color. Didn't like the way that looked. So just play around with the colors. Bought this caramel, but I didn't honestly end up using it. But I may go back and use it. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to paint the countertops with the primer and let that dry. And it took only about an hour. It's pretty warm. And it took about an hour for that to be dry enough to work with. And then you just want to sponge on your layers. And I'll show you how I sponged these on. Some things that I have some concern about are like this little area right here where there's not much real estate to work with. But, you live and you learn. So, this is what I have done so far. And I need to touch up back here where there's some white still, and I probably need to get in that that bend right there some more. This will then need a coat, I'm probably going to do 3 coats of polyurethane to give it the protection that it needs so it doesn't wear off, because it's just plain acrylic paint. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do once I get this project done. Oh, another thing that you'll need obviously is the paint roller. And I want to use this, bought this at Walmart for $1.50. I want to use it again for the polyurethane, so I just lined it with some aluminum foil so that when I pour the primer in it, it'll be real easy cleanup. But yeah, I'm going to paint these countertops. Then I'll show you some of the sponge painting that I do, and then I'll polyurethane it later today. But yeah, I just thought I'd take you along with this journey while I try to improve my kitchen situation. Once I get this done, I think I'm going to, I've got melamine cabinets, which means they're made of plastic basically, over press board. And I put a cabinet paint on them, but I didn't realize that I probably should have sealed it. So I will end up going back and degreasing all of those because it's a kitchen and I'm from the South, so I fry a lot. But I'll degrease them. I think I'm going to paint them with that oil-based primer. And then probably going to do an off-white for them, and then they'll be polyurethane. So I'm hoping that will fix my issue. But that's what I've got going on. I just thought I would share this process with you, and I hope you enjoy it. So I'm starting out, my primer is dry, and I'm starting out with this earth, yeah, I can't see nothing. This earth brown, which is kind of like a chocolate brown. And I've got my sponge here that I have dampened just a little bit, but you want to make sure that you like really squeeze out all the excess. You don't want this to be overly wet, but you do need it to be soft so you can work with it. And I'm just going to squinch it up a little bit. I just put my brown here on a plate, and I'll need more. But I'm going to start on this surface here. Just dab it in the paint and then dab a little of that paint off. And you want to lightly go through and sponge on this paint. And just pick up more when you need it. And you're going to go through this process and think, oh my God, what have I done? It just won't look very good. If you're any type of artist and you've ever painted anything, there's a point during that painting process where whatever it is that you're working on is ugly, is not attractive at all. But you're not done. And the best advice is just keep going until you are done. And just lay this in, making sure that you are tapping and moving the sponge, because you don't want a totally patterned look, because this is supposed to be faux granite, and granite is not terribly patterned, you know, it's made in nature, so it's going to have an irregular kind of look. So just lay this in until you get all of the counter covered with it, and then we'll go back in and we'll do the next layer. So I'll show you that here in just a moment. Okay, so I've covered this one section, and I'm going to work it on this in sections. May not be the best thing to do, but that's the way I'm going to do it because I'm a rebel and I don't care. So there is an area on this countertop where it's hard to get with that bigger sponge. And that's in any of the corners, and you can see that I have areas where it's not covered. So I'm going to take this little dauber and I'm just going to cut some irregularity into it so that I'm not getting like a super round kind of situation. So just kind of cut away some of it, and I'm just going to put this back on the plate. Kind of load it up a little bit and see what I can do about hitting in those areas, because that is the toughest part about doing this, is getting those areas at the edge. So I'll just go through and work this in until I don't have such a disparity in coverage in this area. And the cool thing about this technique is there is no wrong way to do it. You can mess it up, but it's an easy cover. You know, and I know that sounds like there's no wrong way to do it, but you can mess it up. In that you can get some streaks and stuff if you're not cautious about how you're applying this. But just work it out. Just keep working it until you get it completely worked out. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to work through covering these areas in, and then I'm going to come back with my other color as soon as this dries. So I will get back with you as soon as we are ready to move on to the next color. So I am I'm going to come in with some of this metallic. It's this kind of a coppery, bronzy color. I'm going to come back in with that, and we're going to use the same technique. And I'm sorry the TV's going in the background, but we're going to use the same technique and just dab this in over the chocolate brown and in between the areas that the white is showing through. So I'll just go through with that. I'm sorry, this is probably shaky, but I'm going to go through with that and then I'll show you the result. Okay, so on this one I have added the metallic that you can see, and covered most of the white, but the white is not completely covered. And I took a little sponge, like paintbrush, and I cut it irregularly, and I've been using that to kind of get some of the areas, the corners, and I'll continue to do that and make it and fill those in, you know, just so it looks good. And then on over here I have started adding like that copper brown, and actually I like the amount of white that is showing through on this, which is more white than is showing through on the other section, but that section's in a corner and I'm not going to worry with trying to replicate, you know, maybe adding some white there and some other colors. So again, I've got to really take care of these areas in the corners, you can see, and I'll do that with that little foam brush. But I'm really happy so far with the color of this and the texture of this, and I just will need to go back with this lighter color and add a few highlights to this. You do need to make sure so that you don't get the paint leaching together and you don't get smudges and smears, that you let the coats dry in between. But it's acrylic paint, so it really doesn't take that long. But I really am happy with what I'm seeing here. I think it looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, I got dirty dishes in the sink. You know, it makes it tough when you can't do the dishes and put them on the counter. But I'll go ahead and add that red kind of copper color here. And then I'm going to let this dry. And I'm going to try and get that lighter milky kind of brown color on before. Funny how milky and creamy are not the same thing. It is kind of a creamy like tan color on to give a little highlight, and then I'll be done. I'm hoping to get that done before I have to leave, and then I'll let this sit and dry completely, and then I'm going to start adding 3 coats of polyurethane. And of course with the polyurethane, it will I'll use the sponge roller to put that on, which means I'm going to have to hand paint all of these corners, so which is fine. But anyway, I'm pretty excited. It's starting to come together. It's starting to not look like a mistake when you go over here and look at the colors here. I'm really happy with this. Okay, so I have got as much of, still got dirty dishes in the sink, but guess what? I don't care. I've got as much as I want to do on the countertop. I am pleased with the result. It's not perfect. Neither am I. And I venture to guess neither are you, but that's neither here nor there. It does look a little different than the sample section that I did over here. And I decided that I do not want to add the lighter color. I really like the way this looks. And I think, don't mind the yucky cabinets, but I just love how the flooring matches the red up here. So I'm real happy about that. So anyway, now I did touch up a couple of places. There's still, you can see the wet areas right in here. I'm waiting for those to dry. I'm going to give those about another 30 minutes. And then I'm going to do my first coat of polyurethane. And I'm going to try and get 3 coats done. You have to recoat it within 2 hours. I think I'm going to coat it, wait an hour, coat it, wait an hour, coat it. And so I should have it done tonight. So that's kind of what we have done. I'll show you the finished product once we get the polyurethane on. I know it's hard to see, but this is very, very matte. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to see the shine that the polyurethane will give it. So anyway, that's where I am right now. Okay, so this is 1 coat of polyurethane, and the color change that you just saw is a reflection of the light from the window affecting the beautiful iPhone. But the polyurethane that I used is what I had, and I didn't realize it was oil-based, so I'm going to have to wait several hours before I can put a second coat on. But and this is actually not quite as red as you're seeing. There are a lot more brown tones in this. That's probably a truer reflection. But essentially it's done after another coat or 2 of polyurethane. And I do want to show you, and I'm sorry, it's a mess in here because my kitchen's destroyed. I do want to show you, like, there is a slight difference between this side over here, because I added more light tones and covered more of the white. And I decided that I like this much better. But again, less than $50. I don't know exactly what the cost was. This is a pretty small kitchen. There's probably maybe 14 feet of countertop, and there's a double sink in there. So not that much. You'll need at least 2 bottles of the base coat, and I would recommend getting 2 bottles of all of the colors except for maybe the lightest tone. Again, I ended up not really using this lighter tone on this side. And then I have this polyurethane that I had already, but I don't think this is very expensive. I think this is probably between $8 and $12. And then of course I had the 1 quart of the primer. I had that already, and I think that's probably in that $10 to $12 range, maybe as much as $15. But the little paints are less than $1 each. Actually, I think this one might have been like 75 cents. Some of these were as cheap as 50 cents. Some of them were a little more. So, and I had a lot of the other tools. So, you know, I had a paintbrush and a cup there, and I had the paint roller. So I would say for probably considerably less than $50 you can do this. But I would say $50 is a safe bet for a kitchen this size, maybe even a little bit bigger. So that's what we're looking at. I'm thinking an off-white on those cabinets. That's my next project, to paint those. And yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping off-white will be a good choice. Who knows? But anyway, that's what I did here. This this project caused me a lot of anxiety. I was afraid to start it. Then when I got it started, I was afraid to finish it. But you know, I need to cook in this kitchen. It's kind of like a thing about being married. You need to cook in your kitchen. I don't understand this law, but anyway. So I had to finish it. I'm hoping that the husband will let me get away with takeout food again tonight, because with this being oil-based and not drying very quickly, I don't want to blow up the kitchen using my gas stove. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, I hope this helped. If you've got questions, please leave a comment. I'll be happy to answer them. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube about doing this. Mine is not perfect. I just want to point that out. There's some mistakes in corners and imperfections, but who cares? Really, at the end of the day, who cares? But anyway, I'm going to post this on YouTube on my channel. If you'd like to watch it there in the future or whatever, but Socially Awkward Seller is my channel name. Also lots of great information there about selling on eBay. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to go. Thanks for watching.